Here. Okay, I'm live. Hey, everybody, give us a second. We will be getting started at 8 p.m., 2000 for all you military freaks out there. I'm connecting with Vern Davis right now. So if anybody's wondering what's going on, it's because it's not quite 8 o'clock yet, so we're going to try something. Okay, now come on, because now it's starting to say bring them on camera when people are coming on. Except yours doesn't say it. I'm going to wave at you. Why does yours not say it? Yeah, no, here, I'm going to show you something here. Take a picture. I'm going to take a picture, and I'll show you what I'm talking about, what it needs to be saying, and why yours isn't saying it for some reason. All right. Okay, I just sent that over to you. It's at you now. All right, tell me what you see on the picture. All right. Yeah, text. All right, you stay on there. I'm going to hang up my phone, then I'm going to call you right back. All right, so everybody, we're going to be bringing Vern on live here. Lexi Woodson, how you doing? How you doing, sweetheart? All right, we're going to be going live here, but I'm going to bring Vern on. I don't understand why I can bring everybody else on except Vern.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you doing it through Messenger?
Doing what through Messenger?
Are you live through Messenger?
No, I'm live through Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Facebook, you're not live through Facebook Messenger.
No, Facebook itself.
Because I am not seeing the bring you. I see that icon that you showed me there.
Yeah.
Is that on your tablet?
Yeah. See, what I'm saying is it's going on everybody's but yours, and I don't know why.
Well, because I'm on my computer.
Okay. Well, can we try to do this on your tablet or phone?
Okay, so let me see if they have a Facebook app or.
Do you have Facebook on your phone?
Yeah, I do.
Let's hang up with me and then get on and take it off, go off of it live, because like I said, and then go on your phone and pull up Facebook. Keep the phone up and down. Don't do it vertical. And then go and then click on my live feed, and let's see if I get a different response then. It may be doing it because we can't do it through the computer like this. You can only do it through tablets or phones like this.
Okay, hang it up.
All right. All right, everybody. Sorry, we're going to be going live here in just a second. Give us all just a minute, okay? The reason why is like I said, we're going to go live at 8 o'clock. Right now, we're testing out the features. Think each and every one of you are great. Just give us a second, okay, everybody? Vern Davis, like I said, he's a great guy. We're going to go over a few things. I was watching his comedy stuff yesterday. It was hilarious. If you got a chance to see his comics, I think he did a thing like Coffee with I forgot what it's called. You'll have to ask him. Okay, so now Vern Davis wants to be on your video. Yes. Approve. Adding Vern. He should be coming on right about now. Hey, Vern.
Hey, so apparently this only works on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's weird. You would think that you'd have all the options on your computer that you do on your phone.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've seen this before in a couple other things where they won't let you use your laptop or your desktop. You have to use either the tablet or your phone because either Android or Apple does it. That's the reason why I said, and before we start looking for apps, let's just try it this way first. And sure enough, that's how it is. Okay. So I told everybody 8 p.m. So like I said, I'm glad we tested it first. Otherwise, we'd probably be spending another couple days not getting things done. But we are live right now. So there are people that see us right now. Keep in mind on yours and mine, now that you're on your tablet and your phone, you won't be able to see everybody watching you because they can watch without it showing at the bottom.
Yeah.
The computer shows it at the bottom, but a tablet and laptop does not unless they say something. So I always ask people to say something and communicate for that reason.
Okay, so what I'm going to do so that I can see your comments is I'm going to
go onto your computer with it. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right. All right, so we got that work. At least we know what's going on now, and we can work it. Now we just one thing at a time, one day at a time, one step at a
So
time.
now I can actually see.
Okay. I am looking at that.
And what I'll do is I'll turn off my volume on the computer.
Okay.
Then that way I just got to find a different angle for my phone because otherwise it's looking right at my throat. I don't have I don't have one of those little phone tripods,
Right.
I don't have one of those phone tripods.
Now, to give you an idea right now, I don't know if you just saw where Anna came on and you see Lexi, but I can actually bring all them online also at the exact same time, like you were with yesterday with your comedies. By the
Yeah.
way, that one lady that was in the Holocaust, she was awesome. She, I gotta give it to her. She's right. Sometimes comedy, we get really dark in our heads, and comedy sometimes the best way to bring it out.
Yeah,
So
I
as we're
agree.
waiting for 8 o'clock to come around, I thought I'd tell you that she's a sweetheart, man, and the other girl was really nice too.
Yeah, but there was supposed to be two other comedians on the show. Yeah, I was supposed to have two more comedians on the show. So, needless to say,
Hey,
I won't say
it
I was
happens.
upset. I won't say I was upset. I'll just say I was not necessarily happy with what
Right.
happened. So,
I don't know if you saw the new Netflix special with Jerry Seinfeld's comedy. Did you watch that yet?
no, I haven't watched it yet.
I wasn't that impressed. I felt he was digging at straws. He wasn't what we're used to him. But he's a good guy. Don't get me wrong. It was funny nonetheless. But I mean, it wasn't what I was used to. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Oops, let me turn that up.
It's
There we
going to
go.
be a little different.
Yeah. Okay, we're getting everybody on. Timothy Lohmeyer, Steve's on right now. Hey, everybody. And if anybody does have PTSD and they want to join the conversation, Vern, if you can write in the notes, you probably got it easier to be able to write something real quick. Tell them to go ahead and wave or say something to me, and I'll bring them on live if they're willing to tell their story.
Okay.
And I want everybody to understand this. Because we're doing this, we're doing it live. We're not screening anything. So anybody that hears anything, you're hearing it directly from them. And to give you an idea, so Tim, how's it going? Steve, how's it going? Anna. So like I said, we are going to get started here in just a few minutes. I don't have a clock in front of me right now. Oops.
5 minutes till.
5 minutes still? Okay. So anyway, the whole idea right now is when you got out of the military, or even if you're still in the military before the coronavirus, and then going through quarantine right now with everything going on and everything you're hearing right now and the shutdowns and the governors, we want to know how you're feeling right now compared to before. But then we want to take the conversation from there and not really we're not putting a label on the conversation. Because what we want to do is we want to talk to people that are having difficulties. And the best way to do that is keep it open to whatever anybody wants to talk about, okay? This isn't a political thing, so we could care less about all that stuff. But this is to make sure that our brothers and sisters are okay. And I haven't even done my 22 push-ups yet today. Whoops.
And I haven't did my 22 steps. I've done my 22 steps. I just didn't videotape it.
Yeah. One of my friends, you're going to laugh at this one, Vern. One of my friends told me, they're like, so what if your lips move 22 times, Jeff? Does that count? Because you could take up the entire lifetime. Like, thanks.
Here, I'm trying to readjust my camera so that you're not looking at my neck.
That whole thing with throat punches from the Marine Corps, that doesn't really constitute anything. You know that, right? I don't know why. It makes you nervous, I guess. If your Marine's looking at your throat, you're thinking, okay, how can I...
Yeah, I know they want to cut my throat, but I mean,
you just don't want us to see your wife put a bunch of hickeys on your neck, and you don't want us to see it. Hi, wife behind you. Nice, sweetheart. Miss you. Love you guys. Hope you're doing great.
Doing great. How's Gracie?
She's getting big. She really is. She's 12
I
years old.
love her. She is. You're gonna have a teenager soon.
I already
Watch
got
out.
one.
Oh God.
I know, right?
Okay, so y'all having whole conversations.
Okay, you're frozen.
Hey, I only got to have that conversation because we got to look at your neck.
Okay, I guess I'm still live with you.
Yep, you're here. If you can hear me, you're live with me. We're getting ready. If anybody else wants to come on live because you want to share your PTSD stories or anything like that, we'd love to have you. No one's going to force you to do nothing. This is just a roundtable so people understand what's going on. And what I will do is I will, when 8 o'clock hits, which is like, I think now, I'll throw it over to Vern and I'll let him introduce himself. You guys are on my page, but we brought Vern on. Eventually, we will also be doing this on YouTube. But we want to have a weekly discussion with people because, like I said, we've been talking this for a couple years now. We've all lost people. I've lost quite a few. And even people we meet, later on we find out they're gone because they're dealing with stuff in their minds that they don't think anybody wants to help them. And I'll say this now, I'll get this out before I go. One thing with PTSD, when people tell you, oh, they'll get help if they need it, biggest pet peeve you could ever have in mind, don't ever say that to me. Don't ever tell me people are going to seek help. If they want help, they'll get help. No, they won't. You know why they're not going to get help? Because they feel they're a burden on society. They feel like they're the problem, not the solution. They feel like the whole world is ending because of whatever they said or did. And that's why they're trapped right now with inside this mush in their mind. And, you think about it, the Vietnam vets, what they had to do and experience. To tell them, oh, well, if they want help, they'll come seek it out. Really? While you're spitting on it, when all these negative things are going on, they don't want help from people that don't want to help them. And sometimes the only way is you have to be kind to them and just hope that whatever you did, said, or were able to do helps them. Vern has a thing that says, thank you for your service. And I've seen grown men break down and cry because he goes up to them and gives them one of these cards that are just blessed by God some way, because you'd never understand the reaction they get because they've never been welcomed home. They've never been thanked. They've never had somebody say kind words for them because we're so busy in our own worlds. We forget there are people out there that need us. So that being said, hey, Pete Dyer, how's it going? Hey, Pete, real quick, what branch were you in, Pete? Type on what branch you were in of the service. I think Pete was in the military. Anyway, so now we're going to get started. Let me introduce you, everybody. This is Vern Davis. Vern Davis, welcome to my Facebook page and YouTube when I put it on YouTube. We welcome to have you.
Well, thank you very much. You're the only person on the face of the planet that they call me Vern.
Well, I don't know if I should call you, because that's what you got on your Facebook now is Vern Davis. I call you Longhorn.
My name is Vernon, but like I said,
Vernon. Sorry.
Yeah, Vern is some old white guy, but I appreciate, yes, Jeff. I'm Vernon Davis.
I think of Green Acres. What can I say?
Exactly. Or, that commercial, know what I mean, Vern? Yeah, Vern, you know what I mean, Vern? It's like, I'm not that guy,
Vern goes to camp.
Yeah, Ernest goes to camp. Right?
Ernest goes to camp. Hey, Saturday morning cartoons. We'll just say that you were the salt and pepper when we were growing up in the 80s.
Know what I mean, Vernon? But Jeff and I'm Vernon Davis. Some of y'all in the Quincy area may know me as Longhorn the comedian. I guess I should take my glasses off. No, I'm not wearing my hats. Actually, you can see the hats hanging on the wall right there, as you walk in. Yeah, but I do have a serious side to me. Jeff's seen it a few times. I am the founder of an organization called Thank You for Your Service. And what we do is we manage to thank veterans for their service. Actually, Jeff and a lot of people there in the Quincy area have been instrumental in helping us to thank over 17,500 veterans worldwide. And we started this organization 5 years ago. One of the other things that I do outside of tell jokes and thank you for your service is I'm a keynote and public speaker. And one of my keynotes that I do is for veteran suicide prevention. The name of the speech that I give is called You're Not Alone. basically what it is that speech is about me. When I got out the Army, and yes, I'm an Army vet, combat medic. When I got out the military, long story short, I got to a point. Yes, I had PTSD and did not seek help, to the point to where, and then along with a number of other things. Long story short, I was suicidal. I had actually planned my own suicide. I already knew where I was going to go and what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. And if it wasn't for the us helping another family, my wife and I helping another family, I would have went through with it. So I'm a veteran. Yes, I have some PTSD from the military. I have some PTSD from life, and unfortunately, most people automatically attribute PTSD to the military. Everyday people, you, me, your mama, your daddy, your cousin's best friend, sister, we all can suffer from some form of PTSD. For those of y'all don't, some people don't even know what PTSD stands for, but what it stands for is post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I'm gonna go back to that third word, stress. Stress. We're in a time right now where a lot of people are dealing with a lot of stress, the stress of the unknown. I mean, the other day they just announced that there's going to be a shortage of meat, so therefore we got more stress right there. So there's all kinds of different things that's happening to us in our lives that cause stress. And so you don't have to have served in the military to deal with, to have post-traumatic stress disorder. You just live your life. Now, true enough, we hear more about it from veterans. And I'll be honest, I didn't go to the VA because, quite frankly, I felt like I could deal with it on my own. I didn't go to the VA. I've never been to the VA. I don't even carry a VA card because I've always been fortunate to have a position or have a job to where I was fortunate enough to be able to go and seek the medical attention that I needed. And I always felt like that I would be knocking somebody else who needed the medical spot out of line. So I didn't go. I haven't went. But let me explain a little bit more about PTSD, if I may, Jeff.
Yeah, go ahead. You're up. So you're on, buddy. Go.
So there are different types of events that can happen in your life that can cause PTSD. Yes, I know we're in the middle of a pandemic. Okay. But there are some things like serious accidents, physical or sexual assault, abuse, including childhood or domestic, exposure to traumatic events at work, including remote exposure, serious health problems, childbirthing experience. Yes, childbirthing is a traumatic experience. Losing a baby is a traumatic experience. War and conflict, torture. So actually, PTSD, it does actually develop in 1 out of 3 people, who are dealing with a severe trauma, something that has changed it. Sometimes it may not have changed your life, but it changed you, and it's something that sticks with you. So, Jeff, let me ask you a question. Do you feel like you suffer from any forms of PTSD?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I mean, come on, give me more than that. Why do do you know where yours came from?
Well, that I do know. Like I said, I think we all have it from different areas. I try to tell people that PTSD has many different, some abusive, some distancing, some depression. A lot of mine comes from things that, we went through or we had to do while we were in the military. Does it make you forget? No, PTSD doesn't make you forget, Pete. You know that. We wish we could forget. You of all people should know that, but we live with it every day. But
Well, let me correct you on that, if I may. Let me add to that. I won't say correct you. It can, what PTSD can do, a lot of people deal with their trauma in a lot of different fashions. Like me, I'm what they would call a stuffer. I will take a bad traumatic situation and I will stuff it so far down inside my psyche in the back of my mind to where I didn't forget about it. I just put it away.
right.
And then something will trigger it and then it'll come back to the forefront. So forget, no. Can you put it away in your brain? Yeah, you can put it away in your brain. So if I'm, like I said, I wasn't trying to correct you there, but I just want to give you
No, I understand. Like I said, a lot of people, they try to do their best to forget. Uh, People also don't understand always the military humor. Sometimes that's our way of dealing with it. We think, oh my God, can you believe they just said that? Not really. To us, that kind of humor is actually a release. It's kind of a release of stress. It may sound negative to civilians, but actually to a lot of us, you know, the jokes we have, the comics we do have to be careful when we're around regular people. But I've seen people when I make fun of or I say something about the Army or somebody in the Army, right? How many times have you gotten where you say something, they look at you like, I can't believe you just said that. He's a hero. Oh, I know he's a hero. And we all work together. But it just reminds me of a boot coming into the military trying to fight every other branch thinking they're the enemy. And I was like, but when you win, like I said, Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, the first Gulf Wars, every branch works together. There is no way of winning any battle or any war without using each other. And people always like, why do somebody like Vernon and I do stuff like this every day? Because we know what it means, what brotherhood means. It's not, I'm a brother. Yes, Marines are very tight and close, great. But you want to know something? A lot of my greatest friends are Army. A lot of my family is Army. And you know what? They have more problems. My uncle was in Vietnam. He used to climb poles and hang wires to get communications across. Very, very deadly job because the Viet Cong would always be shooting at him. And for the most part, they got shot. Why? You're a freaking target on a stick. It's a target on a pole.
I
You
was a
know?
combat medic. I was a medic, so my aid bag I carry. I was a target, plain and simple. I just want to interrupt you 1 second here, Jeff.
Oh, good.
Somebody's very special is watching our show tonight. My nephew Reggie, and the
Hey,
reason why I
Reggie.
say special, he's in his 30s. I think he's young 30, but he beat COVID-19.
Sweet.
So I am too proud, too happy to just see his name pop up on the screen. He may say something, he might not, but I'm just so grateful that that he's still with us and that he beat it and everything. So um, I was reading on the screen here. It says I've talked to vets from now. Just after they got off the plane, they could not remember. Again,
Traumatic.
I get that. And it's like I say, we take traumatic situations and we put them places. We lock them away little boxes in our head. Now you got to understand the situation with my father was a Vietnam vet. My uncle Johnny Bass, who I love him dearly, he retired. God bless his soul. He's also gone on, but he would not talk about Vietnam. But yet I was there in the house when he would wake up in the cold sweats and in the fighting in his sleep and going back through what he went through over there. My uncle Lovey, God bless his soul, he was a Marine. He's actually my favorite Marine. You're my second favorite Marine, Jeff. But he went through the same things. But the things about the Vietnam vets is that they had to, they didn't, it's not that they forgot, they had to bury it because they were told, don't go home and talk about this. So they walked around with that trauma in their heads, in their hearts for years. When they came home, yeah, they may have just 30 days before that, they may have just killed 30 Viet Cong. Who really wants to remember that?
Nobody.
So
Yeah.
it's not that they forget, we
Well, I
bury.
know. Who wants to remember having to kill a bunch of kids because they had gunpowder in their stomach purposely trying to blow up helicopters? That's
You
bad.
know. Matter of fact, somebody just popped on James Wilson. I'm watching the screen there. He's a Vietnam vet I met in Miami, Oklahoma. I was doing a show there at the comedy club, and a friend of his brought him in. A friend of him brought him to the show. I was there the Friday night. She brought him to the Saturday night show. He's a Vietnam vet, and
Wow.
I was able to one, make him laugh, and two, able to present him with a thank you for your service card, thank you card and dog tag. But he also shared a little bit of his experience with me. And like you say, our Vietnam vets, they suffered from. So if you go back through the list of PTSD, what can cause it, they suffer from serious situations, physical assault, abuse, serious health issues. Agent Orange was no joke.
No.
War and conflict, and some dealt with torture. All those things right there are part of PTSD, or what can cause PTSD. You
And
know,
a lot of
but
those are the
we can
ones that
say
never came home in their mind. They didn't come home in their mind because of they couldn't.
they had to leave it there, or they tried to leave it there.
Right.
You know, so like James says, still in Saigon. You know, at some points, at some time in his, I mean, sometimes he feels like he's still in Saigon. Now, if you fast forward, Jeff, to 2020, where we're at now, we are dealing with a new form of warfare. You know, right now, no, we don't have bombs dropping on us and we don't have people shooting at us, but we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, so what does that bring? That brings serious health issues. You got depression, anxiety. Those also cause, for PTSD. You know, so now it's so the situation, or as we say, the the field of battle has changed, and we're not wearing uniforms and carrying guns. It's actually everyday life that's causing us to be in a situation to where we are feeling these different negative emotions and we have no way to actually vent them, or we do have ways of venting because there are different types of way. It's developed in different kind of ways. One, it's a survival mechanism. You know, two two things that happen. You know that fight or flight thing? Like this,
Yep.
they say there's three kinds of people in the world. Is if they're standing there in front of a burning building, one person will run into the building to try to save somebody. The other person is going to run away and call somebody. Then the third person is going to stand there with the video camera and videotape everything and not do nothing. Well, Jeff, you and I are the kind of people who will run into the building, right?
Oh yeah.
So, but it's that it's that fight or flight. It's a stress hormone that releases, and what happens is while they're the while that chemical that causes that fight or flight, whether that person is in a situation of stress or not, their body is continuously producing that chemical. You know, so it causes that high adrenaline levels. Okay, and it does make changes in the brain.
Oh yeah.
Hence, possibility of forgetfulness, but it's not. You know, the human brain doesn't forget anything.
No.
So, I mean, I remember your face, Jesus Christ. But
I'm just happy you remember my face. I'm like, that's right. Look at this beautiful pagan god look here.
well, Pete says he knows a guy who only gets 2 nights of 2 hours of sleep a night. That is unfortunate, and I'm
Yeah, it's
sorry to
probably
hear that.
Pete. It's probably Pete. Don't let him fool you. It's probably Pete. He's getting 2 hours of sleep. I love the guy to death, but he falls in
Well,
my category.
there are things that that can cause that, and a lot of times they are PTSD related. But the thing that you have to do, or that we don't realize, is that we actually have to go and be seen by somebody, go and get some help. Matter of fact, I do remember on the VA website, if I type in post-traumatic stress or PTSD, they have self-assessments that you can go on and you can take the test yourself, assess yourself, and figure out where you're at and what's going on. I mean, you can get an idea. I'm not saying it's going to give you a complete diagnostic,
Right.
but the problem that we run into is that nobody wants to ask for help, Jeff.
No, they don't. And they're not going to. That's why we do this. It's one reason
Well,
why I help buy suits and stuff for guys. I help guys get into vocational schools. All the different events we do, from like the car shows to lug nuts to tin dusters, fishing for freedom. We're always trying to get guys around each other so they'll talk to each other, because they're not talking to anybody at home. And we've done stuff where people don't pay for anything because the communities do that now. All we do is we ask for the community's money, but we ask them not to talk because they're not going to get talked to, and they're happy doing it as long as these guys, men and women both, we can go all the way back to, I think the World War I's pretty much over with now, but World War II, we're coming close of ending there too. So we're going into Vietnam and Korea, and once again, we're forgetting about the Korean guys. I mean, people don't understand what's going now on the Korean Peninsula and with China and stuff like that happened years ago, and we never resolved it.
Well, I'll put it like this: we, as a society, have resolved it, but there are people there are veterans who are still living it. If
Well, I
that
meant
makes any
by
sense to
not
you.
having a peace treaty. We have a ceasefire,
Oh,
not a peace treaty.
well, yeah, this is true. This is very true. But I guess the thing that I want to do tonight, man, me and you,
Yeah.
is I think the people who are watching this, and quite frankly, we was talking about how people don't like to admit that they don't have that they have a problem because, well, first of all, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, so hey, that's one reason why we're doing this. But two, I want to just reach out. I'm just this is me holding my arms out, putting my hands out to hug these people who are experiencing what they're experiencing. Some people don't want to go get help because these days, where people are frowned upon. Oh, you crazy? Something wrong with you? Yes, there is something wrong with me, and I'm here to get help. Please help me. But people don't want to. That people know they. Unfortunately, people have to be told that there's something wrong with them. They don't want to admit to it. I got a friend of mine right now who has a parent that is going through dementia.
It's terrible.
But what that's doing is it is causing some PTSD in the child that's taking care of the parent. And I say, hey, you need to talk to somebody. I'm talking to you. No, you need to talk to a professional. And I'm gonna take my glasses off so you can see my eyes. If you're watching this, I am begging you. If you know you and you know what's going on with you, instead of doing something stupid, get some help. Instead of just sitting there and dealing with it, get some help. Instead of just bottling it up inside of you, get some help. You're not by yourself, okay? You are unique, but the situation is not unique, and you can live a whole lot better life if you just get some help. Real talk.
Yeah. And I go a little bit, like I said, with Vern, we're two sides of a coin. To me, I'm one of those people. If I know there are people on here right now, I know a couple of you need help. I know a couple of you are listening. But if we don't reach out to people, we don't start using a little bit of kindness, a little bit of, working outside your comfort zone. I mean, you see somebody, there's a reason why we shake hands. You could actually shake somebody's hand right now today, and you don't know, but they're getting ready to go home and blow their brains out. Let me just give you a visual of that. And since everybody's on here listening, I'll tell you one that affected me a great deal. Vern, I think, got to meet him. Glenn Myers, Vietnam vet. He was our commandant of the Marine Corps League. He was drinking heavily. I'm only doing this because, like I said, he's a friend of mine. And a couple days before, maybe a day or two before, he's had some women problems, and he called me up drunk and everything else. And I was like, dude, you can't go and try to you need to come talk. You need to get some help. You need to talk. You cannot keep drinking because you get depressed. You're using one substance to cover up another. And I was like, there's several things I told him, and we had a good conversation. I was like, if you need anything, I'm here, but knock it off. And for years he was doing this. He put a suicide note on Facebook about a day later. 3:00 in the morning, I get a phone call. Jeff, there's a suicide note. But the thing about it is, what was going through my mind at the time was, he's drinking, he's depressed. I get it. Okay. He's done it before. How many times before? You can only run to somebody so many times. So finally, about 5:00 in the morning, I had like 4 more phone calls. My buddy Luke called me. My buddy Jesus called me. A couple of Marines called me. They're like, Jeff, you need to get over there. I'm like, I'm already getting my boots on. Give me a minute. When you cross those railroad tracks, and you're just a few minutes late because it only takes seconds for somebody to make a decision that they talk about for years. I couldn't do nothing about it. I couldn't stop him from blowing his brains out. I couldn't cover up the blood on the walls. I couldn't stop the school bus from going by where the kids. But when we don't take this stuff seriously, there are men and women. I got a friend of mine in a different approach, and everybody's saying it's all about war. It's not about war. I got a really good friend. I'm not going to mention her name. She may come on and see it. But I'm going to tell you a little bit of her story. She's in her 50s now. She is a beautiful young lady of 50 years old, a Black American. She says African American. I said, nope, I only know Americans. And she was ridiculed the whole time she was in the Marine Corps. She, instead of people listening to her complaints and being harassed day after day after day, they would just ship her to another unit. And every time she tried to speak out, they shipped her to another unit. She was treated bad because she was Black. She was treated bad because she was a woman. And this is the, I want to say, late 80s, early 90s. She stuck it out the whole time she was in the Marine Corps. She's a very proud Marine. Don't ever get me wrong. This woman kicked the crap out of anybody. But it destroyed her because they judged her. They didn't judge her. And you know what? That has PTSD in her head now. Now she's spent her whole life wondering if she's good enough, wondering if, you know, she can get somewhere on her own credit, on her own. And the reason why I say that is because not all PTSD is going to relate to combat. Some of it is related to how we treat our fellow Marines, how we treat our fellow people, how we treat our fellow jarheads or soldiers, sailor, Coast Guard, Marines. Don't worry, Air Force is part of the military. I get that.
So is the Coast Guard.
So is the Merchant Marines. We were doing research around
Yep,
America, and I met a
absolutely.
Merchant Marine for the first time in my life. My God, you talk about first. I didn't realize I never met a Merchant Marine before. But the reason why I say all this stuff is this. Right now, yes, and I'm not going to go any further because I can't, because I won't say too much. But yes, my PTSD, my depression, and my anxiety is up a great deal right now, more than it's ever been before. Because where I put my relaxation at, where I put all my, we all have a way of putting it somewhere to protect it. My area has been violated in a way that nobody will ever understand, and I don't want them to right now. And the reason why I did was Vern. Vern gave me the option of coming on here tonight and talking and stuff because he didn't know what I was going through. But the quarantine's not helping any of us because we're being locked away from the very people we need to be around. And the problem is, we're not being locked away by the government. We're locking ourselves away from each other because we're listening and we're not calling up our friends. We're not calling up our family. We're not taking that moment. You know that time where you tell your family member, oh, we'll get together next year, or we'll get together. Eventually, they're going to be dead and gone, and you're not going to have that time because you keep putting it off. I don't care if you like somebody or not, or you need to learn to forget. Like my father, there's a father trucker, Jim Wheeler. Father Jim Wheeler always says, hey, Jeff, you know one thing about all of us? We are all broken people. And he said, you know what terrifies me the most? I'm like, what's that? He goes, you know all this stuff with the scandals with the priests and everything like that? He goes, I'm terrified to talk to people now. He goes, I didn't do any of that kind of stuff, but they sure do accuse me of it. And I was like, in the military feels the same way. Everything we did, we all take on the consequences of what the one person does or what we have to do, what our jobs pertain to. And then we get blamed by an ungrateful nation, which, by the way, I love being American. I love the people around me. But there's some people out there that said, you volunteered. And you know what I tell them back? I'm like, you're right. And I'm grateful for you. And you have every right to think that. But I volunteered so one day you don't have to. I volunteered because I wanted that college and make my life better. I love when people say that military guys are stupid. You know how many things military guys have to learn? And it's not all about killing people. This was my talk yesterday. We have a thing called the MCIs in the military, Marine Corps Institute. We have a reading program that we're required that we have to read. Believe it or not, Marines know how to read, not just eat crayons. Okay?
Y'all
After
do
we
both?
color, huh?
Y'all do both?
Well, you know, you got to have a snack after you're done reading and writing.
Oh. Got it. Okay.
But think about this: when military goes, or it doesn't matter what branch, okay? They have to know customs. They have to know cultures. They have to know who they're talking to, why they're talking to them, how they're talking to them. They got to know what hand to shake. You know the big joke that, if you shake the left hand of a guy in an Islamic country, it's because that's the hand they wipe with. That is a joke that everybody uses, but it's the truth because we had to learn that so we don't shake hands with the wrong hand. You can't touch children. You can't say certain things to women. You have to learn culture. You have to learn ethnicity. You got to learn languages. You're never going to get a beer in another country if you don't know the language. And you can't just say cerveza every time you go to another country because not everybody speaks Spanish. Just saying. I had friends go over to Hungary. I've had friends go to Greece, and I've had friends go to Japan and several others. And they go into bars and say, "Can I have a cerveza?" What?
No clue what you're talking about.
It's like, what the heck? What National Guard unit are you from? Okay, I joke again. I love the National Guard. I apologize. I do have jokes like that, though. By the way, most of the people I work with are military National Guard, and that's even harder. Okay, think about it. If you're in the reserve or the National Guard and you get called up and you're in college, all of a sudden you got to go to war in Afghanistan, Iraq. They got called up. How much pressure does that put on them because they're not doing it 7 days a week? At least when I was active duty, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, we got to look at each other. And trust me, I hated my brothers more than anybody else. I love them more than anybody else. I miss them like crazy now. But trust me, it's like being around your brother or sister 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's PTs. That calls PTSD in itself. But I digress and I apologize. The point is this: if we do not take action to make things better, things will keep repeating itself. You cannot count on anybody but ourselves to do it. Military have taken it upon themselves to take care of each other. And guess what? I've learned that it's not just military. Civilians have PTSD really bad too. They have depression. They have the fear of not going back to work, the fear of their businesses not opening back up. And you know who those people, they hire military. So if we can't take care of our communities and our cities and stuff, who's going to take care of my brothers and sisters? Who? You? Person that doesn't have a job that can tell people what to do but don't know how to do it yourself? No, we have to take care of each other. Your son,
Well,
Lonnie, your son just got home. We'll tell your son thanks and welcome him back for us.
let me jump in here for a second,
So,
Pete.
you're on, buddy. Handing the baton on to
Um,
you.
no, you're right. You're right. I mean, people are dealing with anxieties, depression, um, feeling shut in, feeling alone. Don't forget about the people who live by themselves. We have some people who have no family. We have people who do have family, but they're not connected to the family. So we got a lot of people that are dealing with a lot of messed up situations. So you're absolutely right. But I just wanted to go back. I was looking at the screen here, and James, like I said, James, he's a Vietnam vet, and he said, something that stood out to me. It said that some of us were taught men don't cry or ask for help. Wow. Hey, that's real. So that's why a lot of Vietnam vets didn't ask for that. I put up on the screen in the chat box, I put up the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. That's not just for civilians, veterans, you can call it too. If you just need somebody to talk to, somebody's there, okay? Army chews on Sharpies. Yes, we do. And then we drink gasoline because we made like that. Yes, sir.
Want a cigarette? Do you want a cigarette, Vern?
Well, actually, I'm actually smoking a cigarette, and I'll be honest with you.
I
This
just
is
want to
how
see
I
you
deal.
explode from drinking the gasoline.
This is how I deal with my PTSD. I'm so unfortunate. I have actually quit smoking 17 times. 17 times. But I have found that I'd rather do this than drink or do be a heavy drinker or do drugs. I play video games. I don't play a bunch of video games, but yes, I have an Xbox. But that's how I deal with my anxieties, with my depression. I get on stage and make people laugh. That's how that's how I initially got into it. That's how I did. That's my channeling. That's how I get past things. We all have a defense mechanism. We all have a way of dealing with our lives and our situations, Sandra says, big fact on alcohol. Alcohol causes depression. Yet VFWs, uh, American Legion, so on and so forth, many go to start drinking, which adds to the depression. This is true. James says, look at the homeless veteran nobody talks to. Nobody knows why he's homeless. Although, James, I will tell you this, I've met homeless veterans who are homeless on purpose. And they say, hey, man, I'm out here. I don't have any bills. I don't have any responsibilities. All I got is me. But the reality is that they are running from something. That everybody's dealing with something. And this pandemic that we're dealing with now is something that we're all dealing with, regardless of race, creed, color, sexual preference, or how you like your sweet tea. It's raining. And we're all standing in the rain because we're all equal in the rain. We're all equal when it rains. So we're all standing in the rain, unless you one of the 1%. And then I'm sure if you one of the 1%, you're probably not watching this. The
But
reason
you
why
know
I
what?
think
Every once in a while, they may not be watching, but somebody in their household might be. You
that may
never
be
know.
true. Jeff, you might be one of the 1%.
Hey, Vern said something good. And this is, if you're watching this right now, we're live right now on Thursday. Okay. But if you're watching in syndication, I still want you guys to do this. Put what you do to keep your demons at bay. Put down what you do. Now, I'm going to tell you what I do. You know what I do? I have earned and I have actually moved up through the league, the Marine Corps League, to where I'm the Commandant of the Marine Corps League, the Gem City Detachment 790. Why? I need to take my mind off things. I work with all the parades that go on in Quincy, from the Dogwood Parade to, which, right now they're not going on, but to all the Veterans Day parades, the Hannibal's Holiday Parade, the Halloween Parade, the 4th of July Parade. We work with the St. Patrick's Day Parade, any parades that go on in Quincy. I also do things over with the Adams County Fairgrounds. I work on some farms every once in a while. I do my league. I work business like no other because I do not want my mind to wander. So I'm always doing something, but I've decided a long time ago the stuff that I do is to help people. And I include my daughter in a lot of stuff because she is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. But when she comes along, it makes me proud. One day she'll understand. But right now, like, we put boats in, I go to defend people that are always doing things. There's people out there that they help military right and left, but it's not just military. To me, I took on a thing a long time ago. If I could just help one person, my life is worthwhile. The thing about it is I learned also at the same time, I'll never know if I help anybody or not. So if I do nothing, I know for a fact I will never do anything at all in my life. I know for a fact 0 plus 0 equals 0. 0 times 0. Even the new math, I think it's still 0, 0 equals 0. Correct, Vern? Even that new kind of crappy math they got?
Is not equals not.
So if I do nothing, and then I was been talking with Vern for years, and him and I started talking, maybe we should start talking to people and start doing prevention. There's 22 military men and women a day that kill themselves, 22 a day. And guess what? They were doing this before we started talking, and they're going to keep doing it after we start talking. There's no way that we can stop it. Guess what? We may not be able to. But the journey of 1,000 miles, like is always said in the Bible and everywhere else, begins with one step. If we do nothing, you're right, we will never make a difference. If our founding fathers did not make a stand against the British, we would all still be speaking British today.
We are. We speak the Queen's English.
Vern knows I'm off my guard right now because usually I'd have some kind of a crazy comeback or something.
I'm just saying, we speak the Queen's English. It's different, but we still speak in English.
One of the things in the military we've always hated, and I think the reason why we like to joke, is leaders come out of the military because we are taught to get things done. We are taught we have to learn different new skills. We're taught the biggest people we do not like is do as I say, not as I do. And I've always liked the caption where it shows a person that's on an Egyptian cube building the pyramids, and it shows them whipping the crap out of the people, right? And then the one below it, that one says manager. Then the one below it shows the person that's in front with the ropes helping pull, and that one says leader. Today, I guess what Vernon and I are doing, we're looking for leaders, not because we want you to go out and tell people they have to do stuff, but live an example. And the best way we can get to anybody is living the example of, we know we're broken, we know we're hurting. You know, if you're calling a friend or saying hi, or just calling a family member or a neighbor and just saying, hey, just checking on you, maybe writing a letter or something, you know, you might be able to find that there's more going on than what's, because they may not talk to anybody else. Vern, how many times have you handed out a thank you for your service and a person is just struck in awe? Larry Smith, will give you an example.
Who's that?
Larry Smith, one of the heads of my company. Remember?
Yeah.
He almost broke down in tears.
Yes, he did.
He was in Vietnam.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you a quick one. When I first started thank you for your service, I was actually printing them I was printing them in my basement. I would cut them and fold them and stuff them, and I was ordering dog tags, so the dog tags would come in, and I stuffed the envelopes, and I finally got the nerve to go out and start thanking veterans, because it wasn't just something I just up and said. I had to muster some nerve. Okay, I'm walking up to complete strangers and saying thank you for your service, and they looking at me like I got a horn coming out of my forehead.
Right.
Well, I walked into, I never forget it, I walked into an AutoZone, and I saw this gentleman, older Caucasian gentleman, wearing second recon Marine Corps ball cap. And I walked up to him, I said, hey, sir, see you're Marine. Yes, sir, Vietnam. Well, thank you for your service. And I handed him the envelope. I shook his hand and I kept going, because that's how I planned it. It's not about attention to me. Thank you, keep it moving. Well, I did my business and I was on my way out, and he was standing there by the door with the thank you tag and the thank you card and the dog tag in his hand. And he looked up at me and he had these tears in his eyes, and he grabbed me by my arm. He said, sir, I've been home 40 years and I've only been thanked for my service 2 times in my life, and you are the second one. And he grabbed me and he hugged me and he cried. And that right there let me know that this is what I needed to be doing. Now, what did that teach me? It taught me that a little appreciation goes a long way. I don't know what's going on with that man's life. I didn't know what was happening in his life, but it was enough. That little piece right there was enough to change whatever was happening in his life right there. I got a field promotion to colonel. Yeah. From a Vietnam veteran who was a colonel during the Vietnam era. And long story short, I gave him a thank you tag. And I told him, I said, I wanted to stay in the military until I became a colonel. He goes, oh, you want to be a colonel? I'm like, yeah, well, that's what I wanted to do. He goes, well, let's make that happen. And so he goes, he was wearing a vest, and he had his, he had the rank on his vest. He said, by the power invested in me by nobody, I hereby promote you to full bird colonel. But what happened was I gave him that small piece of appreciation, and he shared a couple of stories with me that he probably wouldn't have shared with anybody else, because he felt like I understood. Now, my point to both of those stories is this: if you're going through something, or you know somebody that's going through something, find somebody that will understand, or that you feel like will understand. If nothing else, just find somebody to talk to, because they may not understand, but they will at least listen. And sometimes that's half the battle, getting it out of you. Get it out of you and get it out into the air. Just like putting together a puzzle. You throw the pieces down, and you look at it and you're like, what the hell is this? And then you start putting the pieces into place one by one. And then before you know it, you have found the solution to your problem.
Yep.
That makes sense. So
the strongest people among us are not the ones that sit there and think if they do something it's going to look stupid. It's the ones that get past that reaction of, if I talk to somebody, it makes sense. If I look in a mirror and I can do it without laughing, or if I can look in the mirror and actually start talking to myself, because you got to start with yourself. You can't start with anybody else. You've got to start with yourself. And okay, I'll tell them one more thing I do. I see myself right now, right? I look like a freaking really old black guy that's bald. You see it with the glasses? I look like that. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. I'm the white guy. Okay. Uh,
You wish you looked this good.
if I was a female, yes. So
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired. Okay. Okay.
I know that's what
Go
she
ahead.
said. 9 months later. Anyway, uh, so the whole point is this: I'm looking at myself. So a lot of you guys are asking, "Is he talking to me?" When I put on there and I put on my page that you matter, you mean the world. A lot of times, yes, I mean that because each and every one of you matter, but I'm also trying to tell myself that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't need to tell myself that. I don't need to tell myself that at all. But sometimes I do. And if you get in a habit of every day knowing that you matter, knowing you're important, knowing that you have a purpose, just because you don't freaking know that dang purpose yet, doesn't mean you don't. It takes one event in your life that you'll never know about that makes a difference in everybody else's life. You are a bigger cog to a bigger puzzle, whether you believe in God or the state or whatever else, whatever you're Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Hindu, Hyundai, whatever, Ford, Chevy, whatever. No matter what you are, you need to know first that you matter and that it's up to you to make a difference in your own personal life. I know he doesn't. Guess what? You need to know you're good enough. And if not, know this. Know that you need to be good enough because you are going to make the difference in somebody else's life. And just because you're contemplating life or death, you could stop somebody else from doing that same contemplation and you can actually save yourself while saving them. Double negative. Save yourself while you're saving them. You may not believe in yourself like I believe in you and like Vern believes in you and like everybody else believes in you and God believes in you. You don't have to. But you need to believe in that person next to you because they need you right now. And you need to get your ass off your freaking chair and sit there and say, hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you. Whether you mean it or not, because he may have a kids to go home to. He may have a future. He may be the next president. Who knows? We quit telling that to our kids nowadays because we don't like saying things. But you know what? Everything is possible. Just because we've grown accustomed, think outside the box and know this. Love yourself. It's not freaking gay or queer or anything else like that to love yourself. And I don't say that in a derogatory form because, like I said, I could care less what your sexuality is. I don't care. Some of my best friends fought alongside of me are every sex in the world you can imagine. And you know what? I don't care what their sexuality is. I do care that when people start looking at stuff like that in a negativity or because you feel, you know what? Feel good about yourself because you're alive, you're kicking, you got your health in some cases. In some cases, you can beat the system by beating the health. Look at Vern's nephew, beat Corona 19, okay? Heck, I'm happy if I just beat a cold because you matter. We joke, but here's just it. You matter. I don't care if you're male, female. I don't care what your dang religion is. I really don't. I matter that you're going to show up on my barbecue. And this is what I tell a lot of people that have these personalities or perceive people differently. You know where I come from? They don't care what your color is or your race, or religion. They care if you show up at the barbecue. Honest to God, you don't show up at the barbecue, they're going to gossip about you for the rest of your life. Why? Because they want you at the barbecue. If you can't have they will make your dishes where I come from to make sure you're at their dang barbecue. The whole idea is you need to show up. If you want to make a difference, you need to show up. And in my family, in my life, and with Vern and my friends, if they invite me somewhere, or if I invite them, it's not because of what they look like. We all know Vern. Look at me. Look at the guy. I feel bad for him. Mary Kay felt bad for him, but that's okay. As long as he were to show up, because if he doesn't show up, if I get every excuse in the world not to show, I don't care if he's got the money, the time, what. What matters is we want him to show up, and we need to make sure people feel that they're included. Yeah, we got bad jokes sometimes, but it's about, I mean, it's about family, it's about friends, it's about who's there, and when they're not, oh my God, every reason in the world, because you know what? It mattered that you showed up, and right now you matter. You make a difference just because you don't know it, and just because I went all over the place with that, I did that on purpose to show you that it doesn't matter where you're at in your mind. What matters is you show up. What matters is you know you're important. What matters is it doesn't matter about the money or no money in your pocket whatsoever. It's like with your kids. Be there for your kids. It doesn't matter if you don't have any money. As long as you show up, they're going to know if you show up or not. Instead of giving them excuses, give them a reason why. Instead of giving yourself excuses, give yourself a reason why you need to get up in the morning. You need to make your bed. Give yourself a reason why. You need to go get a job. You need somebody to talk to. You need to go have a project. There's thousands. If you want, call me. I'll tell you a bunch of things. I'll help you find work if you need work. I'll help you find a project if you need a project. You don't want to show up to your kids. You want to give every reason in the world. I'm going to show you why your kids don't want to be with you. Sorry, guys. Military, that's really bad with military. You're letting your demons get the best of you and your kids see it. You know how you destroy your demons? Get around your kids. Get around your family. Tell your wife every once in a while you love her. Do something crazy. Go out and pick dandelions and give them to your kids and say, hey, look, dandelions. They'll think more of that dandelion than any money you can ever give them because you gave it to them. Have I confused you yet?
No. I'm gonna jump in here for a second. Sandra
ahead.
made a point earlier. She said stand-up comedy helps for for some. Also, that's very, very true, and it's part of the reason why I even became a comedian. But I got some buddies of mine. They're called the Veterans of Comedy. You can look them up. Matter of fact, I do a show with them on Saturday nights. But anyway, we do it. It's the Veterans of Comedy, and quite a few of them. But everybody that's part of the Veterans of Comedy are veterans, and it is how we deal with PTSD and the different things that disturb us. One of my favorite things to do is I fish. I can go fishing. I don't care if I don't catch nothing, but I can get out there by myself and I could talk to the trees and they'll listen for as long as I want to talk. Yeah, and I come home and hey, what you get? Nothing. But guess what? What did you enjoy yourself? I had a ball. My point to y'all is this, because we're coming up on the end of the show. Do something. Do something for you. Do something for the man next to you. There's that old saying that the old saying is each one teach one. I'd like to think, if each one loved one, the world would be a much better place. Now, mind you, there's a lot of stuff going on in the news right now. I try to tell people I go places. I have been all over America. I've been places, they say Verizon covers 97% of America. I've been to that 3% Verizon don't mess with, okay? So, like Camp Point, Illinois. The hell? But yes, I've been
No,
to Camp
it gets
Point.
worse from that. You can go up to Golden, which is even smaller.
This is true,
It's like, what the hell's Golden if you didn't know what Camp Point was?
I've been all over. I have been all over. My comedy has taken me all over the United States. It's taken me to Germany 3 times. I'm very blessed and fortunate for that. So I've met people in all different walks of life. But right now, what's going on in our lives doesn't even matter. What matters is you. You and yours. Take care of yourself so that you can take care of Jeff. You're not going to do something weird, are you? Oh, he's doing push-ups. Okay.
I got reminded. I haven't done this yet today. Keep going.
Okay. I'm like, what?
I'll tell him what it is later.
Okay. Jeff's doing push-ups while I'm trying to be serious. Okay. See, that's Army Marine Corps. See what I'm saying? This is why, Army, we eat steak. Marine Corps, crayons. This is what happens. But seriously, wow. P says, come visit me. We have no cell service. Do you want to know how to make a brother nervous? Let him go somewhere where there is no cell phone service, because I can't call nobody that will come give me a jump, pull me out of a ditch, nothing. So, but
oh, that's funny. You're wrong on that, Vern. They'll give you a jump.
Not that kind of jump, but not the jump I'm looking for. But
just being honest.
Find somebody.
There were like 6 of them.
Find somebody to talk to. Find somebody positive in your life. Find a way to deal with your situation. Except for the negative, the one thing that you can't come back from. That's permanent. Don't do that. Okay? That's all I got to say, Joe.
Always go where you're celebrated. Avoid where you go where you're tolerated. Get away from those negative people. You know, you should have learned by now the people that sit at the bar, they only like you for sitting at the bar with them. Get away from them. It'll help. Now, a lot of you just saw me do my push-ups. Eric Walmack nominated me to do 22 push-ups a day, every day, in remembrance of the 22 that commit suicide every day. So what we do is we ask different people to do different things. I'm not going to tell somebody that can't do push-ups to do push-ups, but I will nominate 5 people on my page here in just a little bit. But I decided to do it live. Why? Well, you can't exaggerate or lie when you do it live.
That's
And
true.
you know, we joke, but one thing we don't do is we're not going to lie to you. We're not going to cheat. We're not going to steal. And we're going to try to make this a good show every week on Thursdays from here on out for consistency. You know, one of the things why things don't always work with people sometimes, they're here 1 minute, gone the next. Our military brothers and sisters need to know that we're here. So no matter what, whether it's me or Vern or we bring a bunch of other people on, there will be somebody doing something on Thursdays at this time from here on out. Because we can't, it's not about saving everybody. We're not trying to save anybody. We're just trying to save one. Make a difference in one life. Make that one thought in your mind that says yes or no. Do I pull the trigger or do I put it down? And you want reality. Yes, we're going to be graphic. Yes, we're going to tell you exactly what's going on, because there's going to be people on here that we're going to be tame compared to what they're going through. But they need to be okay talking about it and saying what they want to say. It's not a kid's show. It's a show to get help, because we know our brothers and sisters need us more today than ever. The coronavirus, not going to church, not going to temple, not going to synagogue, not going to your bowling leagues, not going outside and playing softball or baseball, not going to take your kids. We know it's bad right now. We know. And we're with you. We're here for you. We're here. We know you're not going to call us. We know that. And if you want to, don't get me wrong, I put my number right out there. If you want to call me, my number's on there. I put it out there. I think I put it on there. Yeah. And if you want the national suicide, that's fine. I know some of you aren't suicidal. You just need a friend. You just need somebody to talk to. You just need somebody that'll listen. You need somebody that'll joke with you. Somebody that will show you that, you know, I still got friends. Or, you know what? I matter. You know, I know people always say, go find God, but, you know, not everybody believes in God. Not everybody wants that kind of spirituality. They just want to have a friend. Me and Vern, we're here to tell you we're your friend. We've been part of, how many different groups have we been part of, and we still support and we defend, and we don't always get along with those groups. We love them. We don't always get along with them, just like our brother. But you know what? We know what they're there for. The thing is, we're trying to do good for everybody else. And through doing good by everybody else, hopefully we can find our souls one day. Vern, he's out of luck. The devil has a restraining order against him, and God kicked him out of heaven. That's why he's stuck here on earth.
Purgatory, baby.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you a good one, because like I said, I don't like to leave on a bad note or anything like that. And my buddy Mark, his wife put on Facebook, what? When I die, my husband's not allowed to get married to anybody else. I'm like, Mark, when she goes, you're taking a cyanide pill, buddy. He's on here right now. Mark Miller, his wife goes, oh, hell no, I don't give permission to anybody else date my husband. I'm like, oh, crap. But I can say that because I love them both, and they're some of the greatest people you can ever meet. So thank everybody for joining us tonight. I'm going to give Vern the final words, but I just want to thank every single one of you. And I want you all to know that you matter. You mean the world to me. You mean the world to each other. What you say and do makes a difference. And you're a cog in a bigger machine. You may not know your purpose. You may not understand your purpose, but you have a purpose, and you have to survive till tomorrow. For that, I'm Jeff. Vern, show's yours.
Hey, and honestly, if Jeff gives you the last word, you might want to take it, because it don't happen that often. So
Ouch.
so I will say this very simply. I love you. God loves you. Yes, I'm a man of faith. I believe in my God. I love you. God loves you. Take care of yourselves. Respect yourselves. Take care of your children. Love and respect our vets. And as always, just be nice to each other. I'm Longhorn, Vernon Davis. God bless y'all. $2.
Hey, everybody.